Hello, welcome to Toffee TV. It is the final word. Everton 2, Ipswich Town 2 at Goodison Park on Saturday. Still can't beat relegated teams. Can't do the double over them.
No.
It's a common theme this over the last few years, you know. Beat Ipswich away, all set up, the penultimate game at Goodison. Unbelievable display by the 1878.
Yeah.
2-0 up and we still couldn't get the job done. It ended up being a bit of a frustrating afternoon at Goodison at the weekend.
It did. It ended up being a bit flat, didn't it? Yeah, it did annoy. I must admit I was annoyed by it. Like, I know in the great scheme of things it doesn't really matter, but it did annoy me. And I just thought, for a lasting memory for a lot of people, for the last game at Goodison Park, all the build up to it, all the hype to it, just for Everton not to do the job, maybe says a lot about some of the players and some of the character of some of the players, that there isn't enough leaders out there to drag us through and get us the victory that, not saying we deserve to win, by the way, but get us the victory that we should be getting in front of our home fans. But that's the way it is, isn't it?
It was frustrating. It annoyed me that it's been as calm as I've been for a while and chilled, because we got the job done and David Moyes has done brilliantly. Saturday, it's still annoying me today, really, not in any overboard way, it just is what it is, but it frustrated me because all the games I've been able to go, well, you know, West Ham bugged me at home because we should have beat them. United did stick in me throat for it because they were terrible. But like City, it was just one of those tight games and they had too much quality. Arsenal was but Saturday, being in control, had it been like 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, you'd have gone.
Yeah.
But 2-0 up, you know, I think it's the fourth time this season Everton have surrendered a 2-goal lead. Yeah. Which is not good enough, and that might come down to ability, might come down to, like you've just said, leadership and being able to get the game over the line. And it's frustrating because, you know, just before we really get into the game, what did you make of it? I thought the display was unbelievable. I think in the sun and the way it was, I mean, that was stressful. I was giving confetti out in the upper Bullens for people and, you know,
doing your bit.
Doing me little bit for the 1878. And everyone obviously was in good spirits, and Goodison looked incredible. And when he come out, you know, after the siren and the display, the park, and it was absolutely fantastic. And the confetti, I think, made it even more party atmosphere. And for the 1878's last ever display at Goodison Park, I thought it was brilliant, and well done to each and every one of you in that. It was fantastic. I know that I'm speaking to people, the work it took that went into it. It was absolutely brilliant, and well done the Park End for getting your placard. You know, you're holding your things up the right way, so it looked. Goodison Park looked incredible.
Can be difficult. So, apologies if you see me and I'm like on my phone or I'm working all the cameras.
Yeah. James just gone on holiday.
So if I'm ever like that, if I look distracted, that's the reason I'm looking distracted. I'm changing cameras and making sure everything's fine. Bank holiday, what can you say? Yeah. No, do you know what? I thought it was amazing, and I think I just think that the club are going to have an absolute. The club are going to have to go a long way to replicate that for the last game of the season. The 1878s deserve, obviously, that day off to go and do what they need to do with their families. What I would say is, right, I know a bit of a sort of strange talking about football, but well done to those people. Well done to the football club for allowing people in to take control of the situation and let it be fan led and let it be done organically. I know I slag the club off more than anybody in the world, I think, and that's fine because I do think they deserve it most of the time. But well done to the football club on this. No, you're laughing, but they do. Well done for them on this, because you know, the people have gone in, and the people who were part of the 1878 are very much the same people who were part of protests. And so,
because they all want what's best.
Because they all want what's best for Everton. So well done for people at the football club for making sure they were allowed to do what they do, And well done to the members and well done to everyone who's volunteered. Thanks for putting my name on the flag. I don't think it was deserved, but thanks for putting my name on the flag. But Toffee TV, that was deserved. But thanks for putting my name on the flag.
I don't know why you're on it and I wasn't.
It's because I actually went down and helped.
Oh, well done.
Yeah, thanks, Baz. Did my part. Your bit of confetti doesn't.
I helped on Saturday when it mattered. There you go.
But no, it's brilliant, and the club have got a lot to do. I know. Listen. No, when we talk about Goodison Park and we talk about the legacy and we talk about what we're moving to, number one, and I'm sure we'll mention it again, the amount of home wins we've this season is completely embarrassing. And that's the whole thing, by the way. Not picking on Dyche. Not picking. I'm talking both of them. The whole thing is the whole thing's embarrassing. Yeah. Right, 4 wins. It'll be the lowest ever, even if we beat Southampton.
I was looking. Is it the lowest ever?
It's the lowest ever. It's the lowest ever in the history of Goodison Park. It's the lowest ever. That's embarrassing for the football club, but we know, that'll be what it'll be. What we've got to do is we've got to take all what we've seen and replicate it. And what that means is, for someone like the 1878 is, they've got to grow. But just while we're on this, and maybe this is a topic for another day, they have to be given a place officially within Everton's fan structure. So when you see the Fab and you see all these different parts of it, that I don't know what they contribute to Everton Football Club. I'm sure they contribute something to Everton Football Club, but the one that stands out more than ever for pushing the fans and doing something is the 1878. And as a group, and they mightn't even want this, but as a group, they deserve a place amongst the hierarchy more than anybody else, in my opinion.
Do you think it's because obviously we do have the Fab and we have the fans for, and we'll get back on the footy in a minute, promise. You have the fans for them. Do you think there's a scope for a new fan group, as in fan group probably is, but like representation of the fan base? Whereas I know there's other one I'm not going to mention because people get very upset when you mention other clubs and what they do. But
Spirit of Shankly.
But there's others. There's not just them. United have theirs and Arsenal have got theirs and all that, where everybody sort of buys into it. Like if you got the opportunity. And they then represent, you sort of represent more of the fan base.
I know what you're talking about, and what you're talking about is a fan-led union of fans where all of us are members and we pay in and like subs and we're all members, and it's not like we've got at the moment, which is a
nominal fee. It's not
but it's just part of the fan base. It'll be part of the fan base. So it's not. So the Fab is like a arm of the football club. 100% should be the fans should be unionised to have people who help with all this stuff and work with the club, but are not necessarily part of the club. And all the fans get a vote and get a say. And they should be. That's
what it is. The way I'm looking at it is just simply because if you do something like that, then you've got representatives, proper representation of season ticket holders, members, whoever it is who are part of it, members if you like, who can then take concerns or take ideas or whatever it is directly to the football club and go, this is what imagine if Everton done it and there was, I don't know, 20,000 people signed up for it, say, right? To be part of it, and then you got, we want to do this one, but you're paying a nominal fee to it, and therefore that can go on displays and stuff, because surely we all love that. We all love Saturday, and you think that in a new stadium. Goodison, you just said it. A lot of people going, oh my God, we leave Goodison, what I'm worried that we don't win games. Well, we've won 4 all season, so I love Goodison, and I sat there Saturday, and I was quite melancholy at the end, thinking, I've got 90 minutes left in this seat. That's it. With all the people around me.
We're all going to be puddles.
But it's about moving forward.
From that point, so just going back to my original point, at the new stadium, we need to take that with us. But that can't be on a handful of people to be doing that every single week. They need to be part of the structure of Everton Football Club. But going to the point you've just said, you're absolutely right. We had Julie in the other week, and she talked about the fab and 2 posts coming up for it, right? Yeah. Well, these 2 posts are the only ones anyone can get them. The people who are on the fab are all part of these groups that, in my opinion, it's just a nonsense. And no, let me just finish this point. I think this is really important, right? Go on then. All these people have got into the posts, right, by being in their own little clubs. I just simply don't agree with that. Okay. And I think the whole thing should be fan voted.
Yeah, and again, listen, I'm not having a go with anyone, the fab or the fans forum, because they have had to be elected to get in there. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying maybe a separate entity that is around where you can go, the fans have got this opinion on this. It's not that a separate thing, which is fan-led, to help the 1878. The 1878 shouldn't have to contact us and go, lads, is there any way you could ask on your show for people to volunteer? We should all have a little go. It's not difficult. But we're trying to create that. What I'm trying to say is we're trying to create that, and it's going to be key getting into the new stadium, starting off in the new stadium, because Goodison is home. It's always been our home. It's the only thing we've ever known for everyone. And therefore, going into the new ground, and I've seen pictures again today of the new stadium in the sun, it looks unbelievable. Right? But we are going to have to Evertonise it. From us, we've got to create a soul in there that helps the team and stuff, and we all need to be part of it. And we've got a great opportunity to start looking upwards and looking forward. Now, we do need to. I've seen it on Saturday, I've seen in our comments about like having a go with Moyes and having a go with this and having a go with that. We're going to have to buy into something. We're going to have to buy into something, and let's hope we can buy into the owners, the manager, new players, because we need new players, and move forward. And let's, if we can, and if you can, just give up a little bit of your time. I did it Saturday. Listen, at first you are a bit like, but and everyone did. The park end full, the family enclosure, everyone bought into what they were asked to do. The Gladys Street looked sensational in the sun. You know, everywhere had the flag at the front below me. I thought it was brilliant. We will carry our story, or whatever it was. It was incredible at 2 stadiums. Amazing. And let's start, let's have a new chapter, I think, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, even if people can't give up time and stuff, let's just make sure that we support these people in the right way, and that for me is making sure that these people have got structure within the football club, and they are treated like some of these other groups who are part of the fab, who do get a vote, who do get a say.
Let's just treat everyone well.
No, let's treat everybody. Let's treat all of these people with the respect they deserve, and that means these are the people who are putting all these things forward. And you're absolutely right. The club have helped them as much as loads, but let's give them a place within the club then. And that means...
We saw this in Dortmund. I know with balls, German balls, I know. But it was because it really hit home, seeing it up close. It wasn't just Dortmund, to be fair. In Dusseldorf, remember Dusseldorf, they had their own... They had like fan group with their own stall within the stadium, selling their own, but also organised.
Selling their own gear to pay for all the flags and stuff, and that's it.
And they had a place to put them. They shouldn't be
beg, steal and borrowing for money for... And I know fans paid in the first place. And that's all you need to do. You just need to get behind them, give it a structure, and I think that's what they deserved. And I know the club have, as I said, the club have treated them really well. I don't think it's part of the club. I think it's a part of where they sit within the fan structure. That's the thing for me.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not having a go with the fans forum. Sound the job they do. I'm not having a go with, and because I know they do try to take stuff back. The fab, we've had Dave Witch in here. Who's talking with the Steve Rotherham, and he's reported loads, and Dave took loads of stuff back that and when people have said, can you ask, he's gone up, brilliant. Let's have another one as well. That is, if you want like a directive and members that concerns from the fans or ideas from the fans, do you get actually fed back? And where the football club might turn around and go, well, who's this coming from? You go, well, we've got 20,000 members, and 71% of them, but I'm just picking numbers out the sky, think that this should happen. That's quite a large number. So, maybe that's something we can look at as we move forward. But we do want to create more of what we saw on Saturday inside the new stadium and start having a different future than what we've had. We all deserve it. I actually thought, the team, I think it was the team that you picked, wasn't it? You starting 11, and Dwight McNeil started on the... Again, I personally wouldn't have played him on the right, even though I know that he got him his space in that half space for his goal. We'll talk about that in a minute. He had, obviously, Charlie Alcaraz in, because Abdoulaye Doucouré, a personal issue, I think. It's come out. I didn't realise it on Saturday, but I believe that's what's come on. Beto up top. I actually thought Everton started the game quite well, really.
Yeah.
You know, it is a sort of end the season game with Ipswich relegated. As much as we want the team to go out and play to 100 mile an hour and win the game, you're never going to get now with nothing on it. But I thought Everton started the game okay.
Yeah.
You know, didn't he? And got into it a little bit, took control of it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, again, you get an entrance like that. You get a World Cup final entrance or whatever, and you know, the atmosphere's there. People are singing, and then you realise that it's actually a nothing football match. And that can be that's difficult, isn't it? It makes it slightly the atmosphere starts to die off and stuff. It's
caveat. I'd have took this all day long in January.
Yeah, of course. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's a nothing game of football.
Yeah.
And it's sort of it's like you want everybody to be 100 miles an hour, but you can tell there's no edge. You can tell the players can't get themselves up to that level. Maybe that's a problem for themselves. That's a problem. Maybe the kind of players we do buy or we've got around the squad is that players don't have that laser sharp focus no matter what. It happens. The difference with that's those few percent. Yeah, I mean, listen, we grabbed hold of the game. They're a very, very poor side. You only have to look at the names of the team, and you can, it's a championship team. They built very, very quickly, but there's not loads of talent in there. And it was up to us to try and force it. And I thought we grabbed hold of it, but we've got our issues as well. You look at our team sheet as well, and it's a lot of people who are near the top of the table look at our team and go, well, yeah, well, there's not much in your team either, is there? There's not much.
We're just an average Premier League team, well, mid to low Premier League.
Yeah, and so the quality was never going to be huge, and it was never going to match the theatrics of how the game started.
Well, let me ask you about this then, because obviously all week Everton were being linked with Liam Delap, big mentions for Liam Delap, his audition and all that, even though Chelsea, Arsenal, United are interested as well, apparently. And yet, obviously, haven't seen him at Portman Road against us.
Yeah,
I didn't get him, what he was trying to do. Not that I don't think he's a good player, because I do. I didn't understand what he was doing at Portman Road. He tried to play some sort of hard man role that didn't work, because Tarkowski just had him off early, and that was it. He didn't get a kick. So I was really looking forward to seeing him on Saturday. One thing that stood out, I thought, seeing him up close there, he's a big lad, isn't he? He's a big lad, he's quite mobile. Decent on the ball, but he got himself involved again when, for me, there was no real reason to. It was first couple of minutes, goes and gets himself involved with Jake O'Brien. I mean, I thought the referee had won a competition on bloody County Road, to be honest. He was shocking, that referee. He was absolutely diabolical. It wasn't a difficult game to referee, and he made it look like a difficult game to referee. There was no consistency. He stopped the game because an Ipswich player held his thigh and just knelt down, so he stopped the game, which you're not supposed to do because there was nothing going on. And then later on, when Patterson had an elbow in his throat and was, poleaxed, he let the game go on, and which Ipswich score from. But anyway, I digress. But those two had a little bit of afters in the corner because the lap. And you see, what I thought he really should have done was pulled them together, gone, lads, the game's kicked off 2 minutes ago. Pack it in. I'm watching it. If either of you do anything else, it's a booking. I'm warning you now. He booked the two of them. So obviously that's probably took a little bit away from the lap. But I also thought it unsettled Jake O'Brien as well. I don't think he really was his normal dominant self. But then, having been booked, the lap then goes and clatters Brantway. And I know it wasn't a bad one, but it would have been a booking at any other time. Yeah. So what did you make of the lap's performance overall?
I didn't really think he did anything. I haven't really seen him do anything in either game. I know, I can see what he's all about, and maybe Everton fans would buy into that, but certainly don't think he's didn't look ready for a top side.
No.
Maybe they'd bring him in and use him as a work in progress, but I don't know. I was actually more worried about Hurst coming on, because he's done all right in the last few games, and obviously did all right in this. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to view because you ain't going to get loads of chances for Ipswich.
Yeah.
He's got double figures. I think Evertonians would love the lap, is what he does. But I just don't know whether off the viewing of a couple of games that I've seen him play against us, whether it's enough. But he's clearly got more than that he's shown in a game. He looked very isolated, so he's a perfect Everton striker.
I thought there was one early on where he picked the ball up and went on a run, and he slipped as he hit it, but he showed nice feet and drove.
He managed to. What he did do, there's a couple of times where he picked the ball up and he's got a good balance about him, where he can force the opposition back because they're not really sure what he's going to do. So he did that a couple of times, but the final product wasn't really good enough. So maybe if
I said to you last week though,
the socks.
I'm not sure on my number 9 with calf socks.
I think you're just going to have to get used to.
No,
they're all doing it now.
Omega wears it over his knees. I'm all day with that series on.
All the kids are doing it now. It's the tiny shin pads. Till one of them gets their legs broken off,
and then they go back.
Or the FIFA needs to clamp down on this.
No, listen, he didn't have a good afternoon. But you see, my worry would be, I don't mind me striker being a bit lively like that and mixing it, but going and doing it after 2 minutes when there's no reason to, that worries me a bit when I look and go, imagine if that was a Merseyside derby and you're fired up.
You would love it, that though, wouldn't it? We'd love that.
Nobody would be able to do it. I don't mind it 25-30 minutes in and the game's been bubbling, going rattle Van Dijk all day.
To be fair though,
it was just
be fair though, they were all like that. Like, they're the rattiest team I've seen at Goodison all season.
Didn't he?
No, but like, they got a player sent off last week, and they've had a few sent off this season. Like, they were literally the rattiest team, and I was thinking, where's this from? And I know but it doesn't really seem to fit in with like the style of play. But they've got like loads of bad knocks. I didn't quite understand that. So weird.
Maybe the kids are uncomfortable and just give them they're angry.
Maybe playing Ed Sheeran in the dressing room on stop.
We took the lead. A little move down the left, Michalenko tries to cross, blocked. Alcaraz picks it up, puts a tremendous delivery in. And it's a brilliant header by Beto. It's a really good header. And where I'm sat the minute it left his head, I knew it was in. The keeper was rooted. And it was a brilliant goal. And obviously, he's up to, 9 is it for the season now? Took his goal well. And that was what we needed. That's it. In front now.
Settle everyone down.
You know, everyone was settled, and it was a great goal. And Alcaraz showing that he has got that that bit of ability, hasn't he? That I think he is different to what we've got. You know, lots of reports coming out of South America. I think when did I sending if I tell you Friday night, I'd seen a few that saying basically Everton have agreed to buy him. Now we'll see. But I thought he did he was in and out, don't get me wrong, but I thought he'd done all right. But that cross was lovely. Bent in and Beto's directed it brilliantly into the corner. Yeah,
I thought it was interesting the way he started with the 3 and the wide men being more tucked in, like inside and Jai. And, you know, sometimes it really worked. And for this goal, it worked because he found that space and he could cut it, you know, you put it in with his right foot, and Dwight McNeil on the other side doing something similar, but like with the shots and that and the crosses in the second half. But it was a lovely goal, and when those 3 clicked, they done well. It was only for about 15-20 minutes that it clicked, but it did leave us. It did show that if you're going to play like that, you need a dominant midfielder behind them who can get around the pitch. And so when it worked, and when it didn't, we were so wide open. But it was a lovely ball. It's a great header. It settled everyone down, and that should have been the start of more to come. But, sadly, it wasn't.
I mean, initially it was, because we then got the second goal, which was, you know, Dwight McNeil, I thought first half was just couldn't get in the game. You see, my issue with McNeil on the right is that he's so one-footed that if they just stand in front of him, he's out the game because he can't use his right. Whereas I think on the left, at least he can get a little bit of a yard and put it, because he does put a good, but his left foot's brilliant. He's just got no dynamism for wide areas as if you want him to go 1v1. And obviously, Patterson, who was again a little bit like this, some really good bits, other times a little bit exposed, was making some good runs early on. There was one really good move, and it might have been at 0-0, where we worked it and someone played it into Patterson, and he should have took a touch and shot, and he tried to throw it across first time and the keeper's caught it, he missed it. He did make a couple of those runs early on, so I could see that, but then once they cut that off, McNeil was isolated. But this, why I think with Dwight, for me, he's either you play him in the 10 because he's got that shot on him, he's got that ability to just bang one in from 25 yards, or he obviously has to go. I think me personally, his best position's off the striker, because that's the area of the pitch where you don't need to be lightning. He's okay running with the ball. I think he's got an eye for the pass, and I think he's got an eye for the shot. But we worked it anyway, put it inside. He had space, and he hit across it. And at first, I thought it must have deflected because the keeper had gone. Then when I seen the replay, it was an absolutely tremendous Dwight McNeil strike, wasn't it?
Yeah, and this did come down to good movement, didn't it?
Well, it was a good little move.
Someone had made a run and dragged the play.
Patterson went on the run,
that played that opened it up. And it was a great strike. But I think, again, to play that 3, you need full-backs.
Yeah.
Who are going to be going up and down
and
all the time.
6.
And someone behind you can cover. So it's all down to the movement and down to, because movement helps if you haven't got pace. That's a big part, that moving their players around. And it was a great strike, and I said nice little bit of movement, but it does rely full-backs getting up and down, and it being natural though, being really natural, not just crowbar them into this thing. It's got to be natural. You need that cover, and it's about how you build a team, isn't it? It's how you can do more of that. For us, it still feels like it's a massive work in progress. We know that, but what I mean by that is it's not natural. So as quickly as it started, as quickly as it stopped, the opposition just start going, well, if you're going to do that, then we'll just start playing in that little bit of space that you've left behind, and we're going to put 3 in midfield up against your 2, and let's see how you deal with us.
Well, I'll tell you why it didn't sort of work, was because Enciso was their best player, and what Ipswich started doing, which probably caused Patterson more of an issue, was McNeil he's not a sprinter to get back, so they overloaded their left hand side. So often Patterson was up against 2 players, and when Enciso's running, and they've got runners on the outside and a runner from midfield, at times he was 3v1. By the time McNeil gets back in, they've created the overload, and Enciso had a couple of runs actually when it went 2-0, one where he cut back inside and it's into the side end. And that's where, again, it's the dynamism you need on that right hand side. Now you can go, well, Jack Harrison offers more cover, but that's not the answer either. Everton's problem for me is there's pace. There's no pace on either wing. None whatsoever. There's no pace through the middle, really. Beto's strength is in front of him, giving him chance. I've said all season, if you give Beto chances, more often than not, he will score them or he'll hit the target. We don't really create him a lot of chances because we're trying to get him in with that little ball curled inside. And he made a couple of good runs in behind, and he almost got in a couple of times. But other than that, that was it. So everything was playing behind. He was sort of here, and everything was here, And because McNeil hasn't got that dynamism, he ain't going to go on the outside, and he's not doubling back quick enough. And on the other side, Alcaraz just took so far in. And then Jai got lost then. Jai had about 15 minutes where it looked like it might work, and then he was out the game. And I think what David Moyes, and he did do this, didn't he, second half, he put Alcaraz in and put in Jai wide to try to get him on the ball a little bit more. But Everton, to go forward, need both sides with real pace, and then a fullback.
We need pace at fullback. We need pace at fullback, and we need pace in the wide areas. We just don't have any pace in the team. So, and that second half showed, because it became everything was like a standing start. We got the ball, they just got every man behind the ball, and we didn't make anything because it's just going side to side, and we're trying to break them down, and all they had to do was be a bit organised. Obviously the game changes on like a wonder strike, because Everton they hadn't done anything. They were never going to get back into the game unless what happened in many ways, because we were 2-0 up. We were pushing for more, but we never ever got a grip of that space that we're talking about. That space between the back four and the two, or even in the two getting outnumbered, or the two being so high to support that three. And then maybe that's a case of the back four won't push up because there's no pace in it. So they won't push up and play a high line because they're worried of a ball over the top. And all these things just get broken down one by one. So you can't just go, it's one player's fault. It comes down to the structure of the team and not having any pay. Because that's how it starts, isn't it? You know, you look at the best teams. The best teams play a high line. And anyone who watched Barcelona last week, I mean, how anyone can watch that every week and not like have no fingernails. But they play in a certain way because it allows them for the team to squeeze forward. We play with the defence being 10 yards behind those two because there's no real pace. And they're worried about being...
The mad bit with that Saturday is Brien is quite... There was one,
but they're not quick, are they?
But there was one in the first half where they got away and he just went back and mopped it up. But
there's one... No, but what I mean by...
second half.
But what I mean is, it's more to do with, like, look how far, like we've talked about, look how far the Laps picked up the ball and travelled and still managed to get a shot off without anyone going...
Getting near.
I'm going to stop... I mean, one of the biggest bugbears every single week is how many times players, and we say this loads, how many players are allowed to pick up the ball, and instead of just hitting them when they first get it, we let them run for 20 yards and then we make the foul. It's because no one is willing to commit because they're so scared of getting done on the other side because there's no pace. And if you had that rapid pace, you're not worried about that. You'll get in, you'll stop them, you'll cut them out. Man City this season losing Carl Walker's pace. How many times have we seen them play that high line and then the next minute Carl Walker will just stop them? And that, that's the best, sort of like the best example. But
also not having Rodri.
If we're dropping off, and they just went into that space, and when you've got a player as good as, what's his name, Ciso, and when you've got a player,
calling him Cisco,
when you've got a player as good as him, and obviously we know he's on loan from Brighton, he scored some worldies for them as well. When they get that opportunity, and nobody goes near him as well.
Well, the goal actually, Everton had scored the second, then had another lovely little move and almost made it 3. And then we had the ball again in there. Another good move, and then Giai's got the ball. We had 4v3 in their box, and he just plays a blind pass to no one. Just like, I'll just put it. Doesn't even look, and squares it, and they nip in and work the ball away. And if he'd have took a little bit of care with it, we might have got the third goal. It's just that I've gone past one. I'm just going to hit it into... He didn't look, and it annoyed me at the time. But they break, and they work it up to Enciso, and Idrissa Gana Gueye, I love him, but he was really poor because the lad was always coming back inside and he got done and fell over. But James Garner stands still and Ciso runs into the space, and never once does Garner go to the ball.
No press.
He stands and just puts a leg out, and it's don't get me wrong, it's an unbelievable strike. But I said this last week about Jared Branthwaite with Nicholas Jackson. Go and stand in front of the player. And if the player bends it round in the top corner, you go, wow, what a goal. And I did say, wow, what a goal, because it was a brilliant strike. But just watch it again. If you haven't looked at it, go and look at it again and tell me James Garner couldn't take 2 steps forward and that shot isn't on. It's so bad. And that the best players go and engage. They go and engage so you don't have it. Even that's Sam Morsey for them. I wouldn't have him, right? But he got in front of most things. He just went and blocked you off, and he was busy. And ours are that's what we're not doing. And that was. And Zach said something to me, and he was absolutely right. He was like, last year though, when he picked that up, you would have just seen Onana slide and just flick that up. That Amadou Onana recovery slide tackle. Our 2 midfield, Garner Gueye got done too easily. Was poor. James Garner, get out and get in front of him. Just go and watch it again. It's really poor. If he stands in front, it's not on. And then Ciso runs over and shakes Pickford's.
This is the crux of it, though.
Great goal,
right? This is the crux of it, isn't it? Right. We say this most weeks, or we've said it recently. It's like, it's those little things that are the difference, right? So he picks up the ball. He's a brilliant player, right? He scored these before. This is what Premier League footballers can do. A Premier League footballer, if you give them enough time and space, can do that, like, without any, like, that's training ground stuff. If you give them...
Look at Dwight McNeil's, right? Dwight McNeil, people might go, well, you know, he is whatever, right? And Morsey didn't let him do it again after he'd done this, but they give him space, and he's it. Look at that for a hell of a strike.
Professional footballers, this is what he can do. This is the ability.
He's over the other end. He scored one against City either last year or the year before. The same. It's a brilliant.
This is what he can do. And if you but you're absolutely right. If you stand off them and give them a yard, that's what they'll do to you. Whereas James Garner should be in his face, but it is a symptom of the team of, like, we'll stand back. We'll deal with the pressure. We'll. I seen one last week. Who it was? It was West Ham. It was Brighton, and the ball comes out to the kid who scored the winner, and no one from the West Ham team. They just stood in their own box, as in, like, he isn't going to score from there. He's not going to shoot from there. And the lad just was like, he had 10 yards. As in to say, I've got 10 yards, I'm a professional, I do this every day in training, and I'll just hit it where I want to hit it, and none of you are going to stop it. And I thought they're different, and I looked at that and went, well, I think that's where we're better now, because the Forest goal, we went and engaged, and we pressed high, and then we hit them on the run, and we didn't just sit in our box and say, beat us from there. And, like, but in this game, that's the difference. That's a game where you're like, we've got a plan, we need to win. And in this game, and last week and maybe the week before, it's a bit like, we're going through the motions. Yeah, I'm just going to stick a leg. He isn't going to score from there. Whereas I think the top players with that top edge go, I am not letting you, no matter what the game is, I'm not letting you do that. This is part of my skill set. I'm going to get out because I'm quick. And I'll say it, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. This all needs ripping up, like all of it.
No, but I think, you know,
if people think James Garner is the answer, then they're absolutely wrong. No, but there have to be better players.
No, I think what the manager will do, like, and there's no, we're talking about games there with the goals. There's a big thing missing from them 3 games. He's called James Tarkowski. There's a reason why he's got the most blocks in the Premier League, and people who were going, he'd get him out. Try O'Brien.
He's aggression.
Tarky's unbelievable for us, and he's a key thing to our defence. And it's devastating that he's out for the season, because he's been superb for us. That's some games when he's not been at his best, we know them, but in general he's excellent, and he marshals things. It's because he goes and gets tight and makes it difficult for you to get to. Like I've just said, he's the most blocks in the Premier League. The best defenders, John Terry did it for years. Look at the best defenders. They're all throwing themselves in the way they want to, the best example, Chiellini and Bonucci, throwing themselves in the way of shots and getting up and celebrating like they've scored a goal. And that's what we haven't done the last couple of weeks. I love Jarrad Branthwaite, but last week he could have made that block on Jackson, and that chance is gone. On Saturday, James Garner just takes 2 steps forward. He's there, he's in the right position. Don't go, well, you know what, if you beat Pickford from there, you've scored a goal. Go and stop it. If he bends it round you, mate, and it's in the top corner and Jordan can't get it, there's nothing you can do. There's a reason why Pickford got up screaming, because people have just gone, all week, surely, when you're planning for the game, you're highlighting people and go, the lap likes to do this. This ends Ciso, he's their best player. Look, he's banged them in front, don't give him any room. I'd say it on a Sunday to our lads, if you've got, see that lad there, he likes to shoot, don't just get in, make sure he can't get 3 shots away. So these players will know, they'll have data all over the gaff, and yet we haven't 2 steps forward. And you could feel a pin in Goodison with there. We went in at half time, 2-1 up on. They come out for the second half, and it was the first time, I think, under David Moyes, where it was just like, it was so flat, there was no reaction. And it looked, I'm not criticising the manager, I'm not even criticising the players, but it did look like, this is an end of season game, doesn't matter, just get this game over with. And you don't want that when you're a fan, you want to see the team. We got
maybe in any other season. Maybe in any other season, but it's not like any other season. It's the penultimate game at Goodison Park. It's the last Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff. It's the last game for loads of people. Loads of people, I imagine, would have gone on Saturday because people would have given their ticket up for them to go because they're going to have the last game, and this doesn't really matter. So loads of people, and I've seen loads of people in the Gladys City at the end. Everton sort of understand that and just left people to sit and experience it and stuff like that.
Oh, your stewards are better now.
Yeah, it was like that. It was in the Gladys City. No one really. I don't know what time the last person got out was, but they tried to make it like people, for people to stay. And I just thought second half we just. And listen, this is what, right? I remember saying after the Forest game about like when people were saying, right now it's time to experiment, and it's like, well, not be careful what you want, but you do know that the reason why we won Forest was because it was the best team, it was structured in the right way to go and get a win. It wasn't experimenting, it was going to get a win, and we got a win. And after that game, I said, that's the feeling you want, isn't it? Be prepared if that's the team. We start to experiment, you're not going to get that. And I think that's what happened on Saturday. Now, all right, some of them are forced changes with Jacob Brien playing at centre-back, which is what a lot of people will call him for. Nathan Patterson playing right back. Carlos Alcaraz, who knows if he would have started or not. Dwight McNeil playing on the right. There's a few positions where it's like, we're going to see what we can see. And maybe these are the games that you go, in the long term, or actually these non-entity games will be good for people so they can go, listen, this is what you need to do. But this is what happens, isn't it? We want to win every single game. And there is that double-edged sword of, the Southampton game, everyone wants it to be a win and it to be a great day. And I don't think it'd be the same if we don't get the win. But I felt pretty flat leaving the ground on Saturday, as in like, that's piss poor. For the second, for the
yeah, but it's the 2-0 up, like I said.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's piss poor.
2-0 up, you've got to close it out. And we did. What annoyed me about Saturday is we had one attempt at goal in the second half. And it was Calvert-Lewin header. That was a flick. That wasn't a chance. He just headed it, and it went about 4 foot, 5, 6, 7 foot wide. Wasn't a chance. And that was it. Now, if Everton had gone out and had 15 shots in the second half, and their keeper's making saves, and it's got, or whatever, you go, well, threw everything at it, and they stayed in the game and got a goal, but we didn't. It was so flat, and that was the real disappointment for me. The manager tried to change it, he tried to freshen it up, made a couple of changes, then made a couple more. We just couldn't get anything going, and that's the time. The amount of times we work space on the edge of the box, and then we just passed it sideways again. It's like, raid the goal with 20 shots, get shots in. That's what the fans want. We know you can. Because it was all nice and pretty second half. Oh, I'll pass it to you. You pass it back. Like, get it forward. Dwight McNeil put a couple of curling deliveries in, and you feel like maybe if Dom had been in the middle, he'd have got on the end because his leap's so much higher than Beto's. He might have got on the end.
We put 3 to the back post, and
no one was gambling. And Jai tried to get on the end of one, but if you're like, he's on his left foot, it's gonna be curling in. Why aren't we just making that run to then you'd have had a tap in, and it was really flat. We couldn't shake them off. David Moyes said we couldn't really shake them off.
Do you think he should have made the subs earlier?
Yeah, I thought he took too long with the subs. And maybe he'll say, well, I'm trying to have a look at everyone, which is fine. McNeil was tired, so he took him off, didn't he? Stort and Jai didn't get into it. Did not get into it whatsoever second half. He was just out the game.
I feel like he's a player that just needs a bit more structure. And if that means playing in one fixed position, then that's what it needs to be.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I mean, the manager's trying to have a look, and he sort of referenced this after the game. We tried a few different things, which is what he should be doing. We're looking long term. We're looking because we want Goodison to be, But he's doing a thing. I'm not going to criticise him because it's what I said he should be doing, because I'm thinking long term. It's just frustrating. Now, my message when you're going out would be, lads, just have loads of shots this half, because you might get lucky with one. And get attempts at goal. Stop trying to pass the ball when you've got an opportunity to shoot. And the subs never really, Calvert-Lewin came on, and
the subs are mad though, aren't they? Because, and I do think he left a little bit too late.
But the
subs is mad though, isn't it? Because one week the subs seem to make a big difference, and then like the City game. So in away games they seem to make a difference, but in the home games they seem to make no difference. Yeah. And it's like, it almost upsets the rhythm of the game. It's like they come on and it just upsets everything.
Maybe we just missed Tarkovsky, the core.
Ipswich though. It's a team that have been relegated.
I'm just saying.
Everton should be seeing this game out, should be in total control. Yeah. And in that second half, they never seemed to be in total control. And it always felt like we'd have like a million passes and it'd break down, and it'd break down in a stupid area, which meant they could break and someone was out of position.
They never really, if you think they done nothing.
No, they didn't do anything. But what I mean by that is it's just that they were never like, you never looked at them and went, oh, these are dangerous. What I mean by that is that
but then I'm sure they didn't.
If you have like if you have all these passes and then you give it away in the stupidest areas, that leaves us like exposed. It's like, well, just see the half out then. Just go, you know what, lads, you're not scoring this. We're gonna make this a half where you don't score and we're just taking the 3 points because we're 2-1 up. We don't have to panic. And we didn't have to make it a game of let's leave ourselves short at the back.
That's why I didn't understand why we weren't shooting. Yeah, because that makes them feel under more pressure.
But isn't that a point of like, and isn't this a more
we only had 2 corners?
Isn't this more of a general thing you talk about in the first half of like when we're passing it around? There's no emphasis of where we're really going. No. We're trying to break the opposition down, but we don't know how to. But we never, and because of that, we never have any true control. So some teams can get the ball, and we always see this because we're always on the flip side of it. They get the ball, and they just bore the life out of the game. But what they do is they just make it so as us watching and as they must be playing, as almost to feel like there's no hope of getting back in this game. These aren't giving us, even when they lose the ball, they lose it by shooting or high up the pitch. And they're not leaving, they're not overplaying, they're not sending too many players forward. When the players go forward, they're doing it in the correct way. I'm watching the second half thinking, it only takes one, and it ended up being something so stupid, which, I don't think Patterson was foul, by the way. I mean, you might have a different opinion.
Well, but I've gone with the eye.
I just think he's blocked his run. And I just think he's been pathetic.
What I'm saying,
what's worse is the whole team stopped.
No.
And that's the worst thing.
Because I think if the referee hadn't stopped it at any other time, I don't think the team stopped. He stopped it 3 times when they went down, holding the foot, holding the thigh. This was one which Patterson was holding his head. Well, I'd have to see it again. I'm just thinking live, right? But he's there, and the referee looks at it and goes, no. Well, hang on, why have you stopped it for someone holding the leg? That's not.
I didn't think it was a foul, but it was a terrible ball by Harrison.
Yeah.
And also, Patterson was never going to get it. And Patterson should have readjusted. What he's done is he's done the old thing of, I'm not getting it, if there's any contact. Now, some people were screaming blue murder in the ground. I wasn't. I'm sorry, but I wasn't, because I knew straight away what was going to happen. The minute that ball, I knew where it was going to end up, because it always happens at Goodison.
But they broke, didn't he? And it's in midfield, and the pass goes out, and Michalenko's got to win the tackle, and he doesn't. It's a poor challenge by him, as in he fouls the lad.
Yeah.
But he should have fouled that. If you're going to foul the lad, you foul the lad where the ball goes. It was a terrible tackle.
Yeah.
It really, not as in he should have been sent out. It was just a really poorly executed tackle. You've got to go and win that ball. If you're diving in as the left back, you have to win it. And it's a full. Listen, the lad gets it and he takes him and it's out wide. Adrissa runs with him and tries to block the cross, and it loops up.
Yeah.
If he'd let him cross it, we'd have probably dealt with it. It loops up. The goalkeeper for me has got to do so much better. But Jake O'Brien is stood with George Hurst and just lets him head it. And then Pickford, it's a downward header. For me, he's got to save it, and doesn't he ends up in the back of the net with the ball. But Jake O'Brien, 6'6", has got to deal with that.
He doesn't jump.
Even if he jumps into the striker and doesn't give Hurst, if Hurst, directs it back into the far corner, nothing really the keeper can do, nothing he can do. But I just think that from Michalenko to O'Brien and the goalkeeper, I just don't think.
I think you're being harsh on the goalkeeper, but
I don't watch it. It's not a good header. He just heads it down and it's in the net.
What's an easy header, because but it's a ball in the air, and the centre back should be.
But O'Brien's
making sure that if he can't head it, he doesn't
get the clean header.
And the thing about it is, that's what I mean. It's like we've put ourselves, we've let them counter attack us from our own, from the Gladys Street corner, and we're, instead of just getting back and having because Harrison actually gets back and covers really well for Patterson, so it's not even like O'Brien is covering two people, because Harrison's got back, so there's not even a danger there. but we start like lunging, like you're right, the Michelin come on, you're lunging in, so it's all because you've lost your focus. The team have
even just stood up, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
But that's what I'm saying. The team have lost their focus because they've allowed this, because it's crowd are all getting on, and it's like everyone just loses instead of just going, just defend properly. And that's what I mean about never being in true control and just seeing the game out and just boring it out. They create these scenarios. Just like Ipswich ain't going to break on us. They're not a good team. Being relegated, you open the door to those scenarios, and that's what's going to happen because people have lost focus, and then they're turning around and like, oh, he's fine. It's like, fuck off. They're professional players. It's not a foul. Even if it is a foul, you should deal with that.
The ref hasn't stopped it, so deal with it and then go round the referee. You know, see it out and then all surround the referee. We didn't, you know. But Brien is the chief culprit. He's got to win that. He'll know. Listen, he'll know, but he doesn't jump. And that's the thing of like, you've got one man to mark in the middle. Your focus should be on the man. It's not. He's looking at the ball where it's the man. He should be making sure that George Hurst hasn't got a free header. If he jumps into Hurst, like I say, if Hurst somehow wins it and pops it back in the other corner, then you might just have to go to great header. Nothing you can do, but it isn't. All he does is, which is what you tell your strikers to do, head it down. But he can head it down because O'Brien gives him a free header. Now, you can't give people 6 yards out free headers in the Premier League, and you know that's something we've definitely got to clean up, because you know this can't happen sort of next season. And that was that really. You know, Everton brought Chimity on late, and
but if anyone was going to win it, sadly, it was going to be Ipswich.
But then Ipswich looked like they had the bit. They would, you know, because why wouldn't you? You could feel that we just lost it. There was no rhythm. We couldn't get into it. So you know, but again, didn't really have any moments to win it. But got a couple of corners, didn't he? And we had no moments to win it. We can't look and go, "Wow, we might have won it there at the end." But the referee blowing the whistle at 96:02 or something, even though that there'd been a substitution in and there'd been, you know, stoppages, not letting us take I mean, he probably looked and went, "Your corners are terrible, it won't matter." But blowing the whistle just summed his performance up. Absolutely woeful.
I don't get what it does, stuff like that. If the time's up, it's up.
Yeah, but if you make a sub,
no, I know.
It's got to be added on.
If the time's up, it's up. And Everton were rubbish. So in the second half, so I'm not really bothered about it. The referee was rubbish all game. Yeah, as I said, look, the lap should have been sent off, and that would have changed. The game. But no, I'm not. Everton were terrible second half, and I'm not.
No, we were poor.
We were terrible. We're up. We're 2-1 up at home. Sorry if I have to go on about this. We're 2-1 up at home. Stick up. Do one thing or another. Players have the bottle to either just go, no, we're sitting in. We're not letting you score. We're going to control the game, or go down the other end and pummel them with shots and crosses and just
have them hanging on.
And have them hanging on. Go do one or the other, but we didn't.
We didn't do either.
We stuck in the middle and we left the door open for them, and they took it. And fair play to them. Fair play to them. 2-0 down, and I'm sorry. That's why what made me really angry is that you want players to be given a chance, but there's no leadership on the pitch. There's someone to just go, let's just calm this down a little bit. We're not really going anywhere, so let's just calm it down.
I'm not sure. Like other players would have provided. Only Tarkowski, he's not there because of an injury. Other people, I'm not sure. Like, because we had enough leaders, up lads who are experienced.
I don't think we do, though.
No, lads who are experienced.
You just need someone to go. We just grab hold of this game. Every time we get the ball, it doesn't need to go, get in there, go, you go there, then blah, blah, blah. It's just like, let's just settle the game down a little bit.
But there was loads of times in the second half, Patterson was in 40 yards of space.
Yeah, loads
and we're just playing and like arsing about.
After the guys, he was going, no, when you see the people behind the goal we needed the arrows pointing at Patterson.
Yeah, just pointing.
Loads. It's like he's the invisible man. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think he had a great game or anything, but he was out there just like going, lads,
give me the ball and I'll put it in.
Lads.
He was trying to put
He was like that new lad who turns up at footy and no one will pass him.
No one gives him the ball.
No one will pass him.
Oh, well, there you go. I mean, Carlos Alcaraz, we spoke about him before. Let's have a look at his numbers. There you go. Passing accuracy, 90%. 50 touches of the ball, 1 key pass, 1 assist, 5 out of 8 of his duels.
Yeah.
I thought he'd done all right. Yeah. You know, I think he's a good player. I think he's a player. He's a work in progress because I think you can get more out of him. Can do 2 or 3 different jobs. I've said before, I paid the money for him. I'd try and get him in.
Yeah, I mean,
think he's different than what we have.
No, I think, again, they've played him in that inside left channel. Don't know if that gets the best out of him, but
he's got to create the goal, hasn't he?
He wants to drive the team forward, and he wants to. I just think you need a centre mid, a really dominant.
No, what we do. We need that anyway, even if he stays.
No, I was going to say, I think to play any system, you need a really dominant centre midfielder. And not like, as I said, I'm not like picking people out, but there's people who are nice and tidy, and they're just not good enough.
No, but we don't have, regardless.
No.
You know, you talk about James Garner, and well, he's never going to be that dominant number 6. But James Garner might be good with a dominant number 6. Idrissa would be better with a dominant number 6. Carlos Alcaraz, whoever you put in there, the core might be better. But you know what I mean? It's like the Everton are missing that person in front. And you know, you look at someone like Villa, who have like Boubacar Kamara. They've got obviously Amadou Onana. You know, Arsenal have got people who'll sit in Liverpool have had in the Rodri for City, and I'm talking at the but they're the teams at the top who have it. You know, Forest have 2 that are workhorses there and busy, but they can also, you know, put the boot in. We sort of don't really have that, so that I'm sure that's an area David Moyes is looking. Let's have a look at the stats anyway from the game at the weekend. There you go, Everton 2 Ipswich 2, 8 shots to 12, shocking from Everton. 3 on target for the Toffee, 5 for Ipswich. Ipswich won the XG, 0.55 to 0.85. And there's your problem. Everton have 58% possession.
Far too much.
It's far too much.
Far too much possession.
Just simply didn't have enough shots. 7 in the first half and 1 in the second is not how you win games at Goodison. We're normally getting shots and crosses away. We just didn't do it enough. But that's, you know, we have to make sure we address that for Fulham away at the weekend, and certainly for Southampton, that last home game. You know, we should be getting 20, 25 shots away against them and really putting, you know, letting them know they're in a game. There you go. Let us know what you think in the comments section below. We'll just be quickly going through your comments on Premier now. If you want to become a Premier member, the link's in the description. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you later.